Welcome to Huberman Lab Essentials, where we revisit past episodes to distill the most potent and actionable science-based tools for mental health, physical health, and performance. I'm Andrew Huberman, a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and vital topic of emotions, a core component of what shapes our life experiences. Emotions influence how we perceive the world, how we connect with others, and how we navigate challenges. Let's explore what emotions are, how they develop, and practical tools to understand and regulate them. Why emotions matter. Emotions are central to our existence. They color our experiences, drive our behaviors, and shape our relationships. Whether it's the joy of connecting with a loved one, the sadness of loss, or the awe of a breathtaking moment, emotions define much of what we consider life. However, emotions are highly subjective. Your experience of happiness differs from mine, just as our perceptions of color, like the intensity of red, vary despite identical biological machinery. This subjectivity makes emotions complex but also tractable. By understanding their roots and mechanisms, we can learn to navigate them effectively. Today, we'll explore the developmental origins of emotions, the neuroscience behind them, and practical tools to enhance emotional awareness and regulation. While I'm not a clinical psychologist, my background in psychology and neuroscience allows me to draw from the greats in these fields to provide evidence-based insights. The developmental roots of emotions. To understand emotions, we must start where they begin: infancy and puberty. These periods lay the groundwork for how we experience and regulate emotions throughout life. A key principle in neuroscience is that to understand a brain region's function, we must examine its connections and develop mental origins. Emotions arise from interactions between the brain and body, shaped by early experiences. Infancy, the foundation of emotional bonds. As an infant, you entered the world with little understanding of your surroundings. You interacted with the world through two processes: interoception, focusing on internal sensations like hunger or discomfort, and exteroception, attending to external stimuli like sounds or faces. Infants are primarily interoceptive, driven by internal needs. When hungry, cold, or in need of a diaper change, you experienced anxiety, an increase in alertness, and expressed it through crying or agitation. Caregivers responded to these signals, providing milk, warmth, or comfort. This interaction formed the basis of emotional development. Through repeated cycles of anxiety and relief, infants learn to predict how the external world responds to their internal states. This process establishes the foundation for social bonds and the ability to anticipate others' actions. A practical tool to explore this dynamic is the Mood Meter app, developed by Yale researchers. This app helps users articulate their emotional states with nuance, tracking energy levels high or low, and valence pleasant or unpleasant. For example, I might feel high energy, pleasant, and select cheerful from a gallery of emotions. Over time, the app collects data to predict emotional patterns, helping users understand when to engage in certain activities or avoid triggers. This tool highlights a critical truth: our emotional language is often limited, but structured reflection can deepen our understanding. The strange situation. Attachment styles, classic experiments by Bowlby and Ainsworth, known as the strange situation task, revealed how infants form emotional bonds. In this study, a caregiver and infant interact in a lab. The caregiver leaves briefly, and researchers observe the infant's response upon their return. 4 attachment styles emerged: secure babies. These infants greeted their caregiver with delight, seeking comfort and appearing happy. Avoidant B babies. These infants showed little interest in the caregiver's return, continuing to play or staying with another adult. Ambivalent C babies. These infants displayed annoyance or anger when the caregiver returned. Disorganized D babies. These infants avoided interaction, showing no consistent response to the caregiver's presence or absence. These patterns reflect how early bonds shape emotional regulation. Securely attached infants trust that their needs will be met, allowing them to balance interoception and exteroception. Insecure or disorganized attachment may bias individuals toward excessive interoception, over-focusing on internal states, or exteroception, over-relying on external cues. You can explore your own bias with a simple exercise. Close your eyes and focus on a point of bodily contact, like your feet on the floor, then shift inward to your breathing or heartbeat. Notice how it feels to prioritize interoception. Now, open your eyes and focus on an external object, like a table leg, directing all attention outward. This exercise reveals your natural bias and builds awareness of how you balance internal and external focus. Puberty, a biological and emotional transformation. Puberty marks a second critical period for emotional development. It's a biological event triggered by the brain, specifically through a molecule called kisspeptin. Kisspeptin stimulates the release of gonadotropin, releasing hormone GnRH, which triggers luteinizing hormone LH. In females, LH prompts the ovaries to produce estrogen. In males, it signals the testes to produce testosterone. These hormones drive secondary sexual characteristics, e.g., body hair, voice changes, and reshape the brain and body. Puberty is the most rapid period of maturation, fundamentally altering how individuals relate to the world. Adolescents gain physical and cognitive agency, testing social and emotional boundaries. A review in Nature highlights key changes during this period, including increased connectivity between the prefrontal cortex involved in decision-making, dopamine centers linked to reward, and the amygdala tied to emotion and threat detection. This connectivity supports dispersal, the drive to move away from caregivers and toward peers, testing new social bonds. Adolescents explore how behaviors lead to reward or fear, sampling external events to predict what meets their internal needs. This period refines the interplay of alertness, calm vs. alert, valence, good vs. bad, and focus, interoceptive vs. exteroceptive, building on infancy's foundation. The neuroscience of emotions arise from complex interactions between brain circuits, hormones, and bodily signals. While early theories posited specific circuits for emotions like happiness or sadness, modern research suggests emotions emerge from broader networks that modulate alertness, valence, and focus. Key players in emotional regulation, oxytocin, often called the trust hormone. Oxytocin is released during lactation, sexual and non-sexual touch, and social bonding. It enhances synchrony between individuals' emotional states and heightens awareness of others' feelings. Studies, like one in biological psychiatry, show intranasal oxytocin increases positive communication and reduces stress during couple conflicts. Vasopressin, this hormone influences feelings of love and bonding. Research on prairie voles shows vasopressin in levels dictate monogamous or non-monogamous behavior with similar patterns in humans. Vagus nerve. The vagus nerve connects the brain to organs like the heart and gut, modulating alertness. Contrary to popular belief, vagus stimulation doesn't always calm. It can increase alertness, as seen in a case where vagus nerve stimulation lifted a patient from severe depression to cheerfulness. New Yorker article. Alan Score's theory, dopamine and serotonin. In psychologist Alan Score proposes that healthy emotional development involves oscillating between dopaminergic excitatory, reward-driven, and serotonergic calming, bonding, focused states. In infancy, calm, touch-oriented interactions with caregivers serotonergic build trust, while excited, wide-eyed moments dopaminergic foster anticipation. In adolescence, this oscillation continues through relaxed peer interactions, e.g., watching TV together, and adventurous activities, e.g., exploring new environments. Practical tools for emotional regulation. Understanding emotions empowers you to regulate them. Here are actionable tools to enhance emotional awareness and navigate challenges. Track emotional states with Mood Meter. Use the Mood Meter app to label emotions based on energy and valence. Regular tracking reveals patterns, helping you predict and manage emotional states. Practice interoceptive-exteroceptive balance. Perform the exercise described earlier, alternating between internal focus e.g., breathing, and external focus e.g., an object. This builds flexibility in directing attention, improving emotional regulation. Assess arousal and valence. At any moment, ask, am I alert or calm? Do I feel good or bad? Am I focused internally or externally? This framework helps you understand and adjust your emotional state. Foster healthy bonds. Engage in activities that balance calm serotonergic and excitatory dopaminergic interactions, like shared relaxation or exciting adventures with trusted individuals. Reflect on attachment patterns. Consider how early attachment styles, secure, avoidant, ambivalent, disorganized, might influence your emotional biases. This awareness can guide relationship choices and self-regulation strategies.